Samantha from Summer Tutorials here, and today is going to be a little bit of a shorter video, mainly where I revisit yesterday's video where I made these two earrings. Now if you've watched that video you know that I'm not completely happy with them and was a little disappointed that the colours came out a bit darker than I would have liked. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take what's left of the cane I made and I'm going to do a mokume gane with it, and I want to see if the colours come out better. But it's going to be a real short video, so this is just going to be essentially to see how this looks. So I'm going to take this and I'm actually just going to flatten it out into a piece of clay that I can stamp. And I'm recording this the following day from the video, so the cane has already kind of set a little bit. You can see it's a little crumbly and hard. That's fine. And let's see, this might go well, this might not go well, but I thought I'd switch on the camera while I'm doing it so you can see the results, because oftentimes I do these little experiments just off to the side and the results are really nice, but then I didn't end up showing it. Right, then I've got a little piece of black off to the side here, which has been rolled out as thin as I can get it, and I'm just going to place that on one side. Doesn't really matter which side I place it on, and I'm just going to roll that so that it's flat against my piece, and if things like that happen, I don't know why it didn't stick. If that happens, that's fine, I'll just patch it back up again. This project just doesn't really want to work with me, but that's fine, I do occasionally get things like that. Alright, but I'm just going to give that a burnish so that that clay does stick down. It might be that the roller was a little bit too sticky, sometimes that happens, and in that case I'll just use a piece of paper because that's non-stick. Alright, and that should be completely flat, there shouldn't be any air bubbles. Okay, and I've just trimmed around the edges quickly as well. I'll lift that up and I am going to just give that a roll through my pasta machine on the thickest setting, making it so that this is 2mm thick. Okay, and that will have thinned out the black a little further and will make sure that everything's stuck together. Then I'm going to use just this very simple pebble texture because I think it will allow a lot of the pattern to shine, and it's a relatively deep texture, which is always nice. And I'm just going to place this black side down, and the silicone is always quite stick proof, so I'm actually going to just move this a little further this way. I'm going to just place a baby wipe so that my fingers don't stick to the clay and pull it out of the stamp. And then I'm going to work from one end to the other, pressing this down into the texture like so. Okay, there we go. Just lift that up and turn this around and you should be able to see whether it has been textured correctly. If you see spots that are still kind of opaque in the stamp, you can go in and just give those an extra little press, make sure that they've been textured. And that should just about do. Okay, and I'm just gonna lift that out the texture like so. Alright, and the back of this piece is a little wet from the baby wipe, so I'm gonna just place it on a piece of paper and just kind of get it to dry off a bit because I want it to stick to my tile so that when I shave it, it doesn't move around too much. So that should dry up. Okay, and just make sure your tile's nice and dry. Place it down, and then press with the flat of your palm, and then just check that shouldn't move around. Good. Then the last thing I do before shaving is just trim up the edges where the texture isn't, because I find that that sometimes messes me up when I'm slicing. Alright. And then I've got a nice flexible tissue blade, and let's see how this comes out. And I'm going to try to get these little frills. Oh, this is going to come out well. I see myself making something. Oh dear, this might no longer be a short video. And these should come out really nice too. Oh, that turned out really nice. Why couldn't I have done this yesterday rather than what I made? Okay. And this is a nice deep texture, so I should be able to get some good frills from it. But the frills are how I refer to the shavings from the top of mokume gane or a mica shift, especially if they've got plenty of openings in them. That way you can see the underlying pattern. And I'm just going to keep those because I want those. Oh, I am going to end up making something. I can see it right now. And I'll just continue shaving the whole piece. Like so. Okay, and that actually turned out really quite nice. It reminds me of an oil spill. Now, I've got some pearl white here that's just been rolled out to about 1 millimeter thick, and that's what I'm going to use for these pieces over here, because I want them to stand out. And I'm going to try not to make something right now because I didn't plan this, and so I haven't done the proper instructions to go with this, and it's a two-parter, so I'm not going to make anything. I'm going to restrain myself. But I think I'm going to revisit this in the future. Let me know in the comments below if this is something that I should revisit. Is it worth me actually making something with this technique? Maybe I'll revisit it with some slightly different colours. We'll see. Let me know in the comments, but I'll show you how these two veneers turned out. What I've got here is just a piece of paper, and I'm just going to use that to flatten out both pieces of clay to make sure they're nice and smooth. Alright, and here is how they look once I have done that. So, they look quite nice. Now, if I were to revisit this in the future, a few thoughts that I have here. It feels a little too jumbled for my liking. The colours don't really shine as much as I would like. It looks nice, and I definitely want to revisit it, but I prefer the areas such as over here and here where the colours are a little more separate, rather than the heavily marbled areas. So what I would do if I was going to do this again is I would make the cane a little less busy. I might also introduce some skinner blends because I think that could look quite nice. Another thing that I do want to do as well is I like primo metallics, but I feel like Cernit metallics are superior in many ways, so I would revisit this technique with Cernit metallics because the results I get from them are absolutely stunning. So let me know in the comments below if you would be interested in me revisiting this and maybe making a project from it. And if you want to see how to make the cane, check out the video linked in the description below where I show how to make these little pieces. I think these actually turned out better. Kind of wish I did this yesterday, but that will be linked in the description below if you want to give it a try for yourself. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. Leave them in the comments below as well. And if you like the video, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing, as I do videos just about every day. And I do hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.